for stopping to take a look at the video, for continuing to show interest in the content that I put out. So we're going to have a pretty interesting video today. We're going to talk about some interesting things, a very interesting topic. One of the topics that really kind of pulled me into the occult really heavy. And we're going to talk about ancient mysteries and the secret societies that we may be familiar with, and some of them that we may not be familiar with, right? Now, you may be wondering, why even discuss this? What's the point of talking about these ancient mystery systems that are no longer here, or even these secret society, organizations, or, things of that nature that still may exist today? Like, what's the point, right? Well, the reason why this is a needed topic of discussion, especially if you are into spirituality as far as being into the occult, is because the ancient mysteries is pretty much where all of your current modern day religions are based off of. Even your current modern day secret societies were based on these ancient mystery systems. So if you can go back to the source of where those things come from, you can actually get a more complete picture and a more sound spiritual foundation in what it is that these religions are actually supposed to be teaching you. So that's the whole point of even getting into that type of information. Because some people may have the misconception that it is old, outdated, is no longer of use, but I would highly beg to differ, because when you actually understand and look into the teachers of these mystery schools, these mystery systems, then you understand that everything that is modern and current is based off those same systems. It's just that currently we are influenced and we are structured and we are, kind of directed because of current modern day society, but it's still based on those same age-old ancient principles. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's some of the things we're going to get into today. All right, now, when we talk about mystery schools, or when we talk about ancient mystery systems or ancient mystery schools, this is referring to a time of antiquity. Now, when I say a time of antiquity, or when you read or something is referring to a time of antiquity, we are talking about that's before there was so much written information, before there was so much of that, because there are so many cultures, so many civilizations that predate what we are taught in what we know as history. Okay, so every civilization isn't talked about and discussed when you look at history, and that's because history has an objective. It's his story. It's literally put in place to perpetuate specific and certain ideas that benefit certain and specific groups of people in today's time. So it's very, very vital that you do your due diligence and that you do your work when it comes to researching history. And one of the most important things I learned in that search for history and in studying the occult is that a lot of the missing pieces are in the occult. And that's because the occult has already been determined to be considered outside of the institution that we are taught. So to even dive into occultism itself is a means of adventurism, because occultism has been slated and denigrated. It's almost like being told that you're crazy. So when you look into occult information, it's a means of being discredited, because that information is placed outside of the institution. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Know and understand that everything that is commonly taught is taught for a particular reason, and the things that are outside of that institution is not taught to you or told to you for a reason. Then that's because we are institutionalized, meaning we are programmed with what to think, versus we are taught how to think, how to critically analyze and know how to come to conclusions and solutions and results based on our own ability to critically think. We don't really have that. That's not a part of the educational system. You're not taught how to think. You're only told what to think. That's a very distinct difference. All right. Now, The most common introduction, right? The most common means, or the basic means of introduction into anything that may be considered ancient mystery or sacred mystery, mystic information, is the shallow or superficial introduction. We have the philosophy, and what we're taught in the Western world as the Greek philosophy, right? So and also in the Greek mythology. That's pretty much as far back this society will kind of push towards, because they say, hey, this is the beginning of how we run our society. So there's not much question outside of that. So when we look and we understand about the Greeks and about their philosophy, about their mythology, the Greeks learned from these other cultures. Now see, what you have to do is you have to learn how to follow breadcrumbs. You have to learn how to do research. You have to learn how to think, how to ask questions, and allow it to lead you along your path. Because what you'll notice is, like, take for example, when we look into the Greeks, we know that the Greeks learned from the Hindu, they learned from the Chaldeans, they learned from the Egyptians. And this is documented information. So what you have to do is you have to go back and read people's account and not just accept the dogma or the indoctrination. You can't just accept what's being told to you. You actually have to go